The episode opens with a flashback to Siuan and Eleda's battle for the Amyrlin seat, which took place 10 years ago. Eleda returns to the White Tower to meet with Al'cair, who pointedly questions her about what the Elfin promised her. According to Eleda, they promised her the Amyrlin seat itself. Of course, every gift from the Elfin comes with a price, but Eleda, ever confident, isn't concerned. The power struggle at the heart of this moment is between Siuan and Eleda. In the end, it's Al'cair who tips the scales, casting the decisive vote in Siuan's favor, much to Eleda's frustration and disdain.
Siuan Sanche.
Back in the present, Siuan is losing favor with the sisters. Lean knows she's been told to stand by Rand, but she's frustrated about being kept in the dark over why. She encourages Siuan to put this to a vote before the tower, given it's the most important thing they can do. However, Siuan has already been sending out letters and setting the wheels in motion. This is just what Eleda needs to make her move and trust that Al'cair will make the right choice this time and stand by her. On the other hand, Rand harvests the little Aiel girl's farm for her because he owes her to. Elsewhere, Egwene shows to see Rand, but things are tense between them. Of course, after all the Lanfear drama, she's not in a particularly cheerful mood. At the same time, Moiraine confronts Aiel next, whom she's keeping captive. She wants him to teach Rand, otherwise he'll be buried in this cave, and she'll make sure nobody remembers who she is. In Tenchiko, one of Leandrin's friends has a powerful Tel'aran'rhiod that can emit real fire. They're still looking for Ispan, but she is, of course, dead. They're distracted when Moiraine, still in disguise, gives Leandrin the bracelet. Leandrin then tells the women that they're going to go to the Panarch's palace to find the collar. Nynaeve and Mat decide to follow them. At the palace, Leandrin's told they're uninvited, so she kills the guards without a thought. Finally, in a dream, Rand has a word with Lanfear and confronts her about threatening Egwene in her dreams. He tells her that he's leaving her just like Luz did because she's jealous, petty, and cruel. Rand tells Lanfear that he finally sees the monster in her, but this is all because he's tempting her to show up in the Aiel waste. Before Lanfear can react, Egwene shows up in the dream and wills her away, just like the Wise Ones taught her. When they wake up, the Wise Ones, Moiraine, and a few others are with them, ready to fight. But when she doesn't show up, Moiraine tells Rand that maybe he's not the only one Lanfear is looking for. She's right, because Lanfear first goes to Melindra, who owes her, and tells her it's time to pay back. Meanwhile, Mat, Min, Elaine, and Tom meet Nynaeve at the palace to find the collar. It seems Tom knew Elaine when she was a child and has kept an eye on her mother ever since he left because they were good friends. Elaine brings up Lord Gabriel, but Tom has no idea who that is. Tom realizes the gravity of this situation, and I have a feeling he's going to help get rid of Gabriel in the future. But I don't think Elaine realizes her mom has a Forsaken in her bed just yet. On the other hand, Moiraine kills Aiel because she's taking down the Chosen one by one. On the other hand, all the Aiel clans gather together to see what Rand is made of, and if he's really telling the truth about being the Kara Karn. But Lanfear finds the man who was always against Rand being the Kara Karn on account of him being an outsider, and gives him the second dragon on his arm to make it look like he's the Kara Karn too. If Rand has an army, it will be harder to get rid of him or control him. Remember the red twisty door? Well, there's one in Panarch's palace too, and Mat accidentally walks into it before men can stop him. Inside, Mat meets the Ilfin, fox-like human creatures. The Ilfin are meant to grant wishes, but when they give some, they take some too. The Ilfin can sense that Mat has the memories of the ancestors and that it's bothering him, so it offers to take them away. Before Mat can realize it, a deal's been made, and the next thing we know, Min's vision is coming true with Mat being hanged in front of the door. At this time, one of Leandrin's allies is looking at Mat, so Mine attacks her from the back and then cuts the rope that Mat's hanging by. Finally, she hits him so hard in the chest that he's brought back to life. While the voices in his head are gone, he starts to realize that his own memories are fading too. Yikes! At the palace, Nynaeve sees Leandrin leave behind a ring-like thing that looks like a collar, but not the one from the image. She picks it up because she realizes it's the collar they're looking for. But she waits for the others outside the palace, and Leandrin finds her. Nynaeve tries to reach out to the old Leandrin to remind her of the light, but it has the opposite effect on her. Leandrin tells Nynaeve that she's going to be the first chosen from a new generation and the most powerful of them all. She takes the collar with her powers from Nynaeve and then drops her in the sea in front of the palace. Just as Nynaeve is about to give up, she sees her daughter from when she gave the test as an accepted. Nynaeve basically tells herself that she's there for her, and this makes her connected to the one power again. Finally, Nynaeve is able to channel, escape the bonds Leandrin put her in, part the waters like Moses, and step out of it. After clearing the water and emerging stronger, Nynaeve finds a renewed sense of purpose. On the other hand, Elaine gets her hand on the fire Tel'aran'rhiod and kills the woman who was using it to save Tom's life. Back at the tower, Siuan sends Perrin and the strongest Aes Sedai to find the Red Aja because they've apparently got plans to defy her. Before this, Elaida had banished certain Red Aja members from the White Tower. Upon discovering this, Siuan dispatches her most trusted Aes Sedai to retrieve them. However, it turns out to be a trap, and now Siuan has no allies left in the White Tower. Fascinatingly, Elaida ensured that 11 Aes Sedai remained in the tower, and they all rallied around her. She is proclaimed the Amyrlin seat after calling a vote during Siuan's absence. On the other hand, Leandrin tells Mokidian that she will prove herself to her because 2 women are needed to use the collar. At the same time, Lanfear finds a dead Samael with parts of his body turned into web-like structures coming out of him. Lanfear tells Raven that she'll come for them next if they don't team up, and she brings up the Calendor. Lanfear tells Raven that she's ready to kill the dragon reborn. Elaida continues her rise, and when someone finds out what happened, she is accused of being a dark friend. Her access to the one power is stripped in front of the remaining Aes Sedai. She is then interrogated while severely wounded. Siuan claims she is collaborating with Moiraine, who had already been expelled from the tower, and Rand, whom Elaida once pacified. Siuan is made to tell the truth about the dragon reborn, and she tells the sitters that Moiraine and she were told by the previous seat that the dragon will be reborn. Siuan says that she loves Moiraine and that she's never broken her oaths because she will always be on the side of the light. She tries to show them the side of the light because all Elaida wants is power, which they're unable to see. Finally, Siuan is beheaded in the hall, and Moiraine can feel it all the way in the Aiel waist because of their bond. At the Aiel waist, Melindra goes to Lan and tells him that she will die for Al'cair and the Golden Crane because Lan himself is the Golden Crane. She's meant to kill him, but because she defied her dark oath, which she made to save Al'cair, she ends up dying in Lan's arms. At the same time, Moiraine apologizes to Rand for not backing his decision to go to the Aiel. She now believes it was the right decision. He then asks her if it was she who attacked him and Egwene with the mirrors to drive a wedge between them. Moiraine says it was, and that she wanted to push him away from both Lanfear and Egwene. Moiraine tells Rand that she's always been the knife at his throat because she was ready to kill him if he ever turned to the dark. She tells him that she only wants him at the last battle if he's going to win it for the light. Rand says that she's the only person who wants the same thing he wants. Rand tells Moiraine that he wants her to be by his side for as long as they're both still around. But Moiraine tells him that he has to get the Aiel to join forces with him by himself. No Aes Sedai involved. Moiraine says she's going to protect him from Lanfear in the meanwhile, or die trying. Moiraine and Lanfear fight in the desert, where Moiraine uses the Sakarnan. Lanfear is still too powerful for her, but I wonder if Lanfear is using the Calendor here.
And then finally, we witness what may be the most electrifying and unexpected moment. Lan Mandragoran, Moraine's warder and one of the greatest swordsmen in the world, launching a direct attack on Lanfear. The visual contrast here is stunning. Lan, armed with steel and raw skill, charges toward one of the most powerful Forsaken, who casually shields herself with the One Power.
Lanfear buries the sword in Moiraine's chest, and it looks like the latter is basically dead before she feels Siuan's death, and the power of her love helps her pull out the sword and attack Lanfear again. Moiraine gets Lanfear in the neck before she escapes. At the end of the Wheel of Time, Episode 8, Rand and the other Aiel man make their case in front of all the Aiel clan. It only takes Rand to talk about what he saw in Ruidi and at the Aiel to look at him differently. One of the chiefs tells Rand that he will destroy them if he tells them what he saw in Ruidian, but Rand reminds him that that's what the Kara Karn is meant to do. Rand then channels the power, which turns black because he has both the light and the dark within him. But it begins to rain, and the chief declares Rand their Kara Karn, bowing to him. The only person standing is Egwene, and when she tries to tell Rand to stop, he stares blankly, almost as if he doesn't know what he's doing. I wonder if Aviendha may be able to stop him, or if he will end up hollow before Moiraine shows up to save him again. When Rand unleashes his full power in front of the Aiel, Egwene is the only one who sees the danger. While everyone else kneels, she watches with concern. He may be the dragon reborn, but any man who channels the One Power risks madness. And in Rand's case, that madness could spell disaster for the entire world. As he continues to demonstrate his overwhelming power, Egwene steps forward and tells him to let go. Rand looks at her, but before we see his response, the screen fades to black, leaving us uncertain about whether he listened or spiraled further. According to the show and the novels, Rand has not gone insane yet. With the Aiel behind him, he appears ready for the next major battle. But that abrupt cut to black raises real questions about his ability to control his power and foreshadows Egwene's growing doubts. Her suspicions may soon become reality. Final thoughts. The Wheel of Time Season 3 has been a steady climb, an arc of transformation that built tension, evolved its characters, and unraveled secrets until it finally erupted in a finally powerful but deeply earned. Episode 8 is not just a conclusion. It's a convergence of prophecy, identity, betrayal, and revelation. Every thread spun throughout the season meets its consequence here, and not a single moment feels unimportant. The finale dares to lean into tragedy as much as triumph. The death of Siuan Sanche, once the indomitable Amyrlin seat, hits like a hammer. It's a shattering of more than a character. It's the collapse of trust in the White Tower, and a chilling signal that the institutions once thought unshakable are cracking under pressure. The betrayal by Elaida, the manipulation by Al'cair, and the brutal silence of the sitters underscore how fragile the world has become when ambition is left unchecked. Siuan's final moments are not just a goodbye, they are a warning. At the same time, the episode showcases the rise of new forces. Rand, no longer boyish or uncertain, finally accepts his role as Al'cair. But this is no simple coronation. His power is frightening now, both in scale and ambiguity. Egwene sees it. We see it. The audience is left with the lingering unease of what Rand is becoming, not just a savior, but possibly something darker. And the final moment, fading to black as Egwene pleads with him to let go, is a perfect note of tension. Is he still in control? Or has the pattern begun to unravel him? Nynaeve's arc is another masterclass in emotional payoff. Her rebirth, parting the seas, reclaiming her power, and emerging with purpose feels like the culmination of a journey that began in Season 1 with fear and fury. Now, she is something else entirely. Not a weapon, not a student, but a channeler with clarity, forged in fire and water alike.